Okay. So in the last session, we had seen the concept of interface. Then we had seen the concept of threading. So, sorry. In every case, we have created the constructor. In every case, we are creating the objects. And whenever we are creating the objects, then at that time, the constructor is called by default, even if it is not provided, but that is getting called just because it is a procedure which we have to follow. So what is the constructor? The constructor is basically, it is nothing but it is used to initialize the block of code. It is used to initialize the program. We are using the constructor to initialize. It is in the same concept is available in Java also, and the same concept is available in every object-oriented programming, just like the C++ also. Okay, so uh, okay, so basically a constructor is a block of code similar to method. So it is nothing but it is having the name as that of the name of the class. Okay, it is a block of code. We are defining the constructor just like defining or declaring the methods. Okay, but only the thing is that it is not having any return type. Okay, it is called when an instance of class is created. It means that instance of class, it means that when the object is created, we are calling the constructors. Okay, so at the time of calling constructor, memory for the object is allotted. Okay, whenever we are calling the constructors, at the same time the memory is allotted for that particular object. Okay, so basically it is used for the initialization of a particular block or for initialization of objects. It is a special type of method which is used to initialize the object. So the same thing which is just, it is just showing every time an object is created using the new keyword. So since this is the Java, so therefore, as we know that if the class name is ABC, then at that time we are creating the object as ABC. A is equal to new ABC. So if you are not using new, then if you are writing just ABCA, that is nothing but considered as a reference of ABC class. Okay, so therefore the new keyword is mandatory to create the object. It calls a default constructor if there is no constructor available in the class. The Java provided the default constructor by default. No need to specify those constructors. Okay, so if you are not defining or if you are not declaring any constructor, by default the default constructor is invoked. Okay, so if there is no constructor available in the class, in such a cases the Java compiler provides a default constructor by default. So this already I have told you. There are two types of constructors, basically two types of constructors: no argument constructors and the parameterized constructors. And the another type of constructor, that is nothing but a copy constructor, that we will see afterwards. Okay, so constructor, three types of constructor: default constructor, parameterized constructor, and the copy constructor. So copy constructor is nothing but it is used for copying the values only. That's all. It is just the value. Okay, so we are just copying the contents. Okay, it is called constructor because it constructs the values at the time of object creation. Okay, it constructs the values at the time of creation of objects. It is necessary to write a constructor for a class. It is because Java compiler creates a default constructor if your class doesn't have any. Okay, so basically, as already explained you that if the constructor is not provided in the systems, automatically that constructor is invoked, and automatically that constructor is getting called, and the constructor is provided by the system, which is called as a default constructor. So basically we will now see what are the rules to create the constructors. Okay, basically two rules for defining the constructors are there. The constructor name must be the same as its class name. So this is by default, already I have told you that the name of a constructor should be the name of your class. It should not have any explicit return type, just like void, integer, anything. It is not having any return types. A Java constructor cannot be abstract, static, final, and synchronized. Okay, it means that we have to specify something within that constructor. We cannot put it empty only. It cannot be empty. Then apart from that, the static variables are not allowed in the constructors. Then the final variables are also not allowed. Final variable, it means that the variable whose values cannot be changed, and synchronized variable is also not possible. Okay, so basically two types of the constructor in most of the cases, that is nothing but an parameter subtype is copy constructor. So I think this much is sufficient as far as the today's session is concerned. The next we will see in the next session. But before that, just consider two types of the constructors. In the today's session, we had seen constructor. Constructor basically it is used to initialize the objects. The second thing, it is created with new keyword. It is having the same signature as that of the class. The name of the constructor should be the name of your class. It should not have any return type, and any abstract static values or final values are not considered in a constructor. Okay, so these are nothing but the rules to design the constructor. Then the two types of constructors are, the first one is a default constructor and the another is a parameterized constructor. Okay.